Welcome to the Prop Market. I'm your host, the Prop King, and today we will be going over my 2024 season prop bets for the NFL. Um, Last year we did a great job. We went 8-10 last year. We made a lot of money. Um, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about some of the factors that are important when you're deciding to make your season total bets. If you tell me, that's great. But here's some things that I always like to factor in. Of course, skill level, has it diminished? Is it the same? Is it better? Health, how healthy are they generally? Weather, how are they playing? Where are they playing? And then another thing that I think is probably the most important is opportunity and usage. And we'll get into all those things with all these players. You'll see me kind of hit on all those things as I'm going through my picks. But like I said, this is a great opportunity to make money, season total bets. And the reason why is because the lines aren't as sharp. The lines aren't as sharp as they're going to be week to week. And you'll see with some of the numbers, you're going to be like, wow, is this what this equates out to this guy throwing every week? Because if you get this number on a weekly basis, you wouldn't even get close to it on Prize Picks or any type of outlet. So the issue with it for a lot of people is they have to wait a long time to get your money. If that's an issue for you, then yeah, season totals are probably not for you. But if you don't mind waiting, it's an investment and it's a really good one. And it was a great investment for us last year here in the prop market. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to my first pick. That's going to be Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. 2023, he threw for 4,516 yards. I have him going down about 300 yards close to it, 4,225 yards. I just feel like maybe he won't have the same year. It even leaves open for a game or two, maybe a game of him missing, which we hope he doesn't do. So it's very important he stays healthy. And he doesn't have a great defense. Again, I feel like that defense is going to give up some big plays. They kind of look bad at the end of the year, and I think they're going to kind of continue that. And he also doesn't have a running game, which means his usage is going to be super high with no running game. He only plays two bad weather games, one in Philly and one in Washington. So the rest of the games should be, pretty good games, easy on him. He has 10 dome games. So he's playing in the dome 10 times, maybe his home stadium or another dome, which means he's going to have games with controlled environment. There shouldn't be any weather issues with him for most of his games. His number's actually lower than it was last year. His odds are. And so with that being said, I like his over 4,999.5 yards, passing yards. I love this number. It's actually come down quite a bit to where I feel real comfortable playing. Next guy is Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence has never went he has went over this number every year, but his rookie year. And he has some really good weapons. Coming back, I like Ingram. I like Kirk. I think they're both going to be, really helpful for him in the passing game. He only has two possible bad weather games, November 3rd in Philly and January 8th. So the rest of his games are pretty nice weather, so he's not going to have an issue with that. Another thing with Trevor Lawrence is this number's way lower than it's ever been for him. You see what he threw last year, and that was with him missing some games, a game or two. He missed a full game, and then didn't play another. He was out for part of the other games. So he still went over 4,000 yards. So I'm not understanding this number at all. Maybe it's because they don't believe in his weapons. I'm not sure. Maybe they think he's going to get injured. But either way it goes, I really like his over 3,779 yards, passing yards. I feel like he soars over this and we cash very easily. Next guy is Justin Herbert. I, I mean, I think he's probably second to none when it comes to throwing the football. He throws the football really well. The ball spins off his hands and he's usually pretty accurate. He's hit this number 3 out of 4 years that they have for him. Um, the reason his number was so low in 2023 was injuries. But I'm looking for a bounce back year for him to stay healthy. He's a big guy, a big frame guy. He's shown that he can take a lot of hits. Last year he was just taking wicked shots, but hopefully they've improved their line a little bit, and I think they have. So that's going to give him an opportunity. I don't necessarily love his weapons, so I do understand why some people would look at him and say he's going to be under. There's not a wide receiver out there that I'm like, oh man, that guy's going to really take it to the house. He's really going to help Justin Herbert. But I also know that he's going to have that opportunity every play to make some type of play, and I think he will. So I really like this over. I think it's really low for one of the best throwers in the football in the league. So I got him over 3,599 yards. We're gonna shift to the run game. Next guy is Derrick Henry. This guy's number is pretty disrespectful considering what he's done for us in this league. Um, in 8 seasons, he's went over this number. He's only went under it 3 times. His first 2 seasons, he went under it. And then also when he only played 8 games. So he's went over this number pretty much every year. Um, Willie Taggart, his running back coach, is saying that he looks great out of the shotgun. He did a lot of that at Alabama. People forget he was running out of shotgun. I remember him running downhill out the shotgun. It's pretty scary. I think Lamar Jackson's going to help him because you don't know if Lamar is going to pull it or not. And so, with that being said, you're kind of fearful of Lamar pulling it. So Derrick Henry's going to see some open field, and it should be pretty easy for him to clear this number. This number is very low for him. They got him at 975 rushing yards. I see him easily going over 1,000 this year. The next person we have is Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles. 2023, he went 3,858 yards. I have him projected for a little less this year, but not where they have his projection at. He has weapons all around. He's got good tight end, AJ Brown, Smith. He's got so many guys that he can go to and throw the football to. And I feel like he's going to utilize these guys. He's also, I can see him phasing even last year from running as much. He's looking to throw the football a lot more. The only reason he may go under is because the defense is really dominant. He may not have to throw the ball that much some games, but I still see those games that are going to end up being a shootout where the defense just maybe you know, gets outdone a couple times, and now he has to come back and save the day. Hopefully, it happens more than I think. But with his number being so low, I got him over 3,599 passing yards. Next pick is Bryce Young. Bryce Young is a guy, he 2,877 yards as a rookie. A lot of people are already trying to peg him as a bust. I don't think he's a bust at all. I feel like he has good upside this year. I feel like he can really soar over this line. I think he's gonna have so many opportunities to throw the football. Um, there's gonna be some issues with that offensive line with him being so, short, as we can say. But I think his number's so much lower than what it was than what I feel like it should be. His projections are just really good. They don't have a running game. He's got to be extremely motivated, and you just got to think about it's only 188 yards a game. That's what this kind of averages out to. I think he can give that to us. And also, I think he can have a couple games where he's at 250 and 260. If he does that, more than 3 or 4 times, and he keeps that 180, we'll sail. Even if it's a bad game, he's going to cash out. So I like his over 3,199 passing yards. Next guy, talking about disrespect, is Stephon Diggs. Uh, he has a good quarterback. I think a better passing quarterback in CJ Stroud. Um, they like to throw the ball. He's playing in a dome, so it shouldn't be too much weather issues. I like the way he comes out of his cuts. I love his routes. I think he has something to prove. Uh, he's went over this the past 6 years. So he's went over the number they have him set. It's super low for a star like Stephon Diggs. And so with that being said, I love his over 950 receiving yards. Next guy is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is a guy that he had a Cinderella story. The Cinderella story kind of continued, but it came to a screeching halt during the Super Bowl. I feel unfortunately for Brock, he was kind of exposed in that Super Bowl, and the 49ers, who were constantly being torn apart about how much they let him throw the football. So I think this year they're going to play through their defense. There's going to be games he probably hardly throws the football. And with that being said, Christian McCaffrey is the top rushing guy on the board. So I don't see how his number's so high. Yeah, you want me to believe that Christian McCaffrey is going to get all these carries. I would tend to believe it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. I feel like the Cinderella story is coming towards an end. I don't think he's horrible, but I don't think he's worthy of 3,899 passing yards. So I got him going under that number. Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets. Aaron is a funny character, man. He's a different type of dude. Um, but he's been doing a lot of other stuff outside of football for someone who's coming off an injury. Don't get me wrong, he's a competitor. I know he's motivated to do well, but I also know that the Jets are going to try to protect him. And there's two ways to protect the quarterback. One, with the running game. Two, by playing through their defense. And they have a really good defense. The running game, I'm not sure if it's going to be that great this year, but I feel like the defense is going to be really good. He also plays in a lot of bad weather, 7, 8 games are in the bad weather areas. So those games he could be, you know, in a snowstorm. Now he has to run the ball most games. That could end and over just like that. So I don't like to bet too much on guys who play a lot of games in bad weather. With that being said, I like his under 3,749 passing yards. For all the reasons I told you, he's also approaching 40 years old, which could also throw off some of his skills. I think his skills have diminished. I'm not saying they're gone, they're diminished. It's going to be a struggle. He's coming off injury, so I think he's going to ease his way into the season because I don't see him doing any games during preseason. Now to my last pick, I got Jaden Daniels from the Commanders. I have him projected at 3,300 yards. In college, he went over that number. He went at almost 3,800 passing yards. I know it's college, it's different, but that was also in 12 or 13 games. So we're talking about, another four or five games he'll have to play. And then one of the number one reasons I love Jaden Daniels is Eckler. I feel like this guy's probably the best receiving running back we've had in the NFL in a long time. Him along with Saquon Barkley, who also will help uh, our boy Jalen Hurts. But I like that, the Washington Commanders threw the ball a lot last year, a lot of short passes. I think that's how the offense is. So, he may throw the ball 40 times a game. And with him throwing the ball that much, I feel like his number of 3,075 yards is really low for him. I think he can soar over this number with how much volume he's going to have throwing the football. Now a quick recap today's picks. Prescott over 4,099 yards. Lawrence over 779 yards. Herbert over 3,599. Henry over rushing yards 975. Hertz over passing yards 3,599. Young over 3,199. Diggs over 950 receiving yards. Purdy under 3,899 passing yards. Rodgers under 3,749 passing yards. And then last Daniels over 3,075 passing yards. I love all my picks. I'm super confident in these picks. I've done a lot of research for about a month or two, and I decided to go ahead and send out this video in between of my summer league picks. And also, we'll be having college football. Hopefully, the futures come out soon for college football. But I'll be doing college football every week this year. So, and that's my most prosperous sport. So go ahead and lock into that. And I'm also going to be doing the NFL. I'll be doing a little bit of that too. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and like I always say, let's cash in.